What is a conspiracy theory you actually believe in?
Apple made the original AirPod memes and jokes to boost the sales on them after their sales sucked the first year.
I feel like Netflix does this with their movies. Bird Box being most notable, but I'm starting to see it again with Squid Game or whatever.
The cardboard rolls that toilet paper are on have gotten wider in diameter over the years. This is one way to make the rolls look bigger. Because 6 mega rolls equals 32 normal-sized rolls.
I was in Vietnam last spring and noticed their toilet paper rolls have no core at all. Edit. Photo. Link.
Honestly, I find the idea gold isn't at Fort Knox any more believable. In the same vein, I doubt they keep anything important at Area 51 anymore. I bet they keep the sites up so we don't look anywhere else. Why or how? I don't care enough to think that deep. This is just something I heard that makes sense to me.
Area 51 is such a great idea. Even if the Roswell crash has some truth in it. What the US government has effectively done is to have millions of people focus on one area, leaving them free to do other more important poo elsewhere. I imagine in Area 51 they create all this security hoo-ha to keep the facade going. Whilst they, I dunno, make wicker baskets or something in the hangars.
For the record, serious answer. But, there's this soup place at our local mall that's been there for 3 years now. I've never seen anyone order anything from there, and I rarely see anyone at the register. When our mall was closed due to COVID lockdown, quarantine, several locally owned stores shut down, and a few places in the food court. Last time I was there was for my birthday in August, and the soup place is still there. My mom and I have an array of theories about what it could be, ranging from money laundering to a front for DG, but I cannot believe that place is legitimate.
I knew a fried chicken place that was money laundering. They got caught because of a newbie in a money laundering business who tried to claim they made way too much money selling fried chicken. The calculation was had they been open 24/7 and with 10 workers non-stop using all the fried, they would have to sell at least 30 orders every second. And there was photo and video evidence that the place was empty. Guy was a complete moron.
Bic doesn't fill their lighters with as much fluid as they used to.
Now this I can get behind.
That video game companies got a taste of the kind of money that gambling brings in and changed an entire industry to emulate the casino structure but for children.
Rob Dyrdek has gotta have some serious dirt on someone at MTV to have ridiculousness on as much as possible, and constantly filming new episodes.
A good chunk of Ask Reddit threads are from BuzzFeed employees looking for their next article. Edit, I've been on 5 of these articles and I know you'll see this, pay me motherfuckers or start writing your own poo.
Not just BuzzFeed, but also plenty of YouTubers and podcasters out there farming Reddit for content. Hell, I heard someone on my local radio station go through Ask Reddit comments before.
That Charles Lindbergh was responsible for his son's death.
More on this.
Lindbergh was a known supporter of eugenics and his son was born with abnormalities. The theory is he was responsible in some way for the kidnapping and death of his son due to the fact that he couldn't have the world know his perfect genes were tainted.
There are people out there hired by companies to make dozens of fake accounts that retweet, reblog, etc. and act like real people just to advertise products.
It's not a secret. By Crest.
Most construction companies in America today are run by the talentless kids of the people who actually knew construction.
That's just a fact. Nepotism is a huge problem in many industries.
Everyone's going heavy with theirs, but I have one that's less serious. Baby wipe containers are purposely made so that you always pull 2 to 3 wipes out at a time and therefore need to buy more often. It's definitely something I can see Big Wipe engaging in to get just a few more containers out of us each year.
Similarly, I'm pretty convinced acne washes, cleansers contain materials that cause the acne to flare up when you stop using them, so you keep buying it. Realistically, maybe it's just your skin adjusting to producing its own oils again and it'll even out after a bit, but who knows?
The conspiracy that created the term conspiracy theory. Think back to the 30s, 40s, 50s. There were stories of the black cars showing up and making people that start finding out too much disappear. Enter the 60s and 70s. Mass media starts growing at a massive rate. A rate at which the government realizes that they cannot ever fully control. Their genius solution is to open the floodgates of crazy. Push a bunch of conspiracy theories into the populace that makes real conspiracy reports be ignored as just tinfoil hat crazy. Label all reports as conspiracy theory. This over time creates a societal misunderstanding in the form of the term conspiracy theory becoming equated with crazy. An example of this is I believe that there really aren't many people that truly believe the Earth is flat. There are just some entities planted that push it as a theory. This then becomes one of the main examples of all conspiracy theorists are not to be taken seriously.
Deflategate was a distraction from brain damage and domestic abuse scandals in the NFL. And I say this as someone who hates Tom Brady. It should have just been a small fine and forgotten quickly. But this is the type of scandal the NFL can tolerate, whereas brain injuries and domestic abuse can hurt the league's reputation. And it worked. Distraction and news cycle dominated by this for an entire offseason rather than more serious issues.
Similarly, I believe that the emphasis on responding to concussions and the concussion protocol is designed to make people think that the NFL is taking CTE and associated brain injuries seriously, and that the league is also taking appropriate actions to limit brain injury. It is meant to distract from the fact that CTE's most significant root cause is repeated subconcussive impacts, which the NFL is unable to prevent.
That the same person posts this question a few times a month.
That questions like this are market research, and this question in particular is likely to be used for some pretty effing nefarious purposes. Edit. A lot of you seem to think only BuzzFeed is interested in this data. You do you.
Probably just a BuzzFeed article, to be honest. But the data will probably be mined off to help some troll farm mission analysis.
That someone from the inside knew that the Boeing 737 MAX was absolutely trash and shorted the stock.
If it helps, my bill is a pilot and most commercial airlines only allow pilots to fly one type of aircraft at a time. His was the MAX 8, so with the grounding, then COVID, he was on leave for 2 years. In any case, even in the height of the headlines, he would say the MAX 8 itself is a great plane. And the reason those planes crashed was inexcusable pilot training. I knew exactly what he didn't do, and what he needed to do in order to not crash that plane. But there's no way he would have known about it, because he wasn't taught. Where the blame falls after that, Boeing or the specific airline itself, or both, I don't know.
This might not be a groundbreaking hot take, but I think that applying for disability status benefits is intentionally made to be a convoluted mess of bureaucratic jargon and endless hoops to jump through solely so that disabled people don't take advantage of them, either because they give up trying to navigate an intentionally confusing system, or because they make a mistake along the way, and the process gets effed up. I'm really lucky I had my mom helping me with a lot of the paperwork, because otherwise I would never be able to get the supports I need in post-secondary. It's like someone purposefully designed the process to be as unobtainable, messy, and overwhelmingly complex for a disabled person as they possibly could.
To add to this, at least in the UK, I'm pretty sure they deliberately decline anyone they think they can get away with doing it to, even if they know the person is eligible. A suspiciously high percentage of benefit claims get granted on appeal IIRC, like 60% or something. They just hope people don't go through the process of appeal because it's complicated and a hassle. The system is designed to be cruel, inefficient and prevent payouts as much as possible.
That the government creates or at least promotes crazy conspiracy theories to make the true ones seem crazy by association.
Most CIA plots sound like conspiracy theories until you realize these are coming from actual official documents that will lay out in detail all the crazy poo they did or plan to do.
The NBA rigged the 1985 draft lottery for the New York Knicks to get Patrick Ewing.
New Coke was just a distraction so we didn't notice the change to high fructose corn syrup. It was never supposed to work.
Dollar slice pizza places. This may not make sense to people who don't live in New York City. We have these great places that sell a plain slice of pizza, cheese only, for $1. I can't believe they make rent and payroll on volume with $1 per slice and the going rent rates. This has to be some sort of money laundering scam, but one where no one cares because you get a slice of pizza for $1. Might not be the best pizza, but damn, $1 slice. I'll always stop in if I'm passing one on the street. This just can't be economically feasible and something else is going on.
I passed a typewriter repair shop on my way to class every day on 38th Street and always wondered how the hell they paid rent in NYC fixing typewriters. All the hipsters were in Brooklyn.
certain ultra-wealthy rich have slowly politicized the news over the past decades in the way of brainwashing the population into believing their agenda. Along with possibly having multiple news channels, e.g. left or right-leaning channels, to attract more viewers, so if they don't like one they may go into the other one which they agree more with. Additionally, increasing the entertainment part of the news and decreasing the news and educational parts of the news.
That the international establishment are not cracking down on the slave trade because too many of them benefit from slaves, wage slaves, debt slaves, indentured servants, passport hostage victims, Magdalene laundresses, unpaid internships, etc. themselves.
The government watches, but not on an individual level, like they don't read every email and text you send, is more like they an algorithm that filters of the metadata of the people in use that determine the possible dangers to a zone.
I'm pretty sure this is verifiably true.
That my phone listens to conversations. Far too many situations where I'd talk about something random and see adverts about it on FB and Instagram without me ever searching for it.
The real creepy thing about this is that the data your cell phone does pull is so good and analyzed so well that listening to your voice would be a waste of resources. They don't need your voice when they have technology that's close to magic.
Apps track your location, even if you have the permission turned off.
Bro, apps don't need to do that. As long as you have service you are being tracked, bucko. That ain't even a conspiracy, it just a fact.
Women's clothing doesn't have adequate pockets because the purse and handbag industry wants to ensure women continue to buy bags to carry their things.
I always saw it as more of a cyclical feedback loop. The clothes designers say, we don't need to add pockets, they have a bag anyways, and the bag makers say, women need bags because they have no pockets.
That Facebook's outage the day before the whistleblower went in front of the Senate was no accident.
I'll bite. What's the purpose of doing that?
The fine art market is a scam run by the ultra-wealthy to hide and preserve their wealth.
Money laundering and tax evasion. The world stock market is rigged, and most trading happens behind the scenes.
Margin Call is an excellent movie about the market. Meh, I said what I said. It's a good movie regardless. Muting notifications now.
Disney called the movie Frozen in an attempt to dilute search results about Walt's head.
All countries have ninjas. We only know about Japanese ninjas BC, they're the worst.
They're called spies in other countries.
That rogue and non-rogue members in the FBI, CIA, and Mafia conspired to kill, and killed JFK, RFK, MLK, and Malcolm X. We have documented proof the government worked with the mob on a couple different occasions. I think the proof is there to connect all the dots. Just my opinion.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
This plus the super powerful and wealthy pedo ring.
China is using TikTok to develop a database to experiment and perfect deepfake technology and techniques.
The media is the biggest poo stirrer of fear and anger and use it in order to stay relevant to keep the funds rolling in.
Thank you. Reddit is no better, honestly. The problem here is that there's a lot of good quality content as a whole. A lot of the content is severely subversive in its intent, however. It's very easy to fall into a default mindset if you're impressionable. Just look at the default subs being shoved into the face of newcomers. It's indoctrination into a mindset. Question everything, folks. Reddit is not always your friend.
The VA provides substandard care to lower the life expectancy of veterans because they're expensive to treat.
The US doesn't provide free college because military numbers would plummet.
Not necessarily a conspiracy, but social benefits for military service is actually openly documented to be the major recruiting tactic that the military uses in a post-draft society. Check out the book The Rise of the Military Welfare State.
McAfee and Epstein didn't kill themselves.
McAfee literally said if he suddenly killed himself in prison, it wouldn't be him behind it.
They're trying to get us stuck in perpetual fear, apathy so that we don't make plans for our own futures and instead buy things now, and fall in line with what agendas they want to push.
My personal feeling is that we're being pushed towards living in some form of company-town society. Housing, rent keeps getting worse and worse. Eventually the working class and working poor will figure it makes sense to work for Amazon and live in the Amazon dorm and get paid in Amazon bucks to spend at the Amazon store.
Oh man. Corporate city-states, here we come.
Republicans, Democrats aren't as hostile as we're led on to believe and actually agree a lot but are using our differences in beliefs to control us.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.